Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to explain about joints and its classification. So we'll see what is joints. So joints means joint is the junction between two or more bones or cartilage. It is a device to permit movement. However, immovable joints are primarily meant for growth. If you see a primary cartilaginous joint of a long bone which increases the length of the bone, and a newborn baby is about 15 inches in length, and the length increases 60 to 70 inches in adult due to the growth of these joints. So that is about the introduction about joints. Now moving on to the classification. So classification, it can be classified into four ways. One is called as structural classification. The second one is called as functional classification, then regional classification, and the last one depending on the number of articulating bone. In that, the structural classification I will be discussing in detail. Moving on to the second one, that is the functional classification. Functional classification means depending on its movement. So it is mainly divided into three types: synarthrosis, amphiarthrosis and diarthrosis. Synarthrosis means no movement is possible, that is it is immovable. Example for that is skull type. Amphiarthrosis means slight movement is possible, that is especially the secondary cartilaginous joint you can see. The last one, that is called as diarthrosis. Diarthrosis means freely movable. Example, synovial joint type. Now moving on to the third classification, that is the regional classification. It is mainly divided into three types. That is the skull type, vertebral type and limb type. Skull type means it is immovable. Vertebral type means it is slightly movable, and limb type means freely movable. Moving on to the fourth one, that is depending on the number of articulating bone, it is mainly divided into three types. That is a simple joint, compound joint and complex joint. Simple joint means there are only two articulating bones. Example, interphalangeal joint, especially this is the phalanges, interphalangeal joints you can see. Next one is called as compound joint. Compound joint means there are more than two articulating bone. Example for this is elbow joint and wrist joint, etc. The last one, that is the complex joint. Complex joint means the articular surface that is mainly divided by an articular disc into upper and lower compartment. Especially you can see in the right and left jaw joint, that is the temporomandibular joint. So that's all about the classification, and moving on to the main important one, that is the structural classification. In exam point of view, if you see, this usually asks for 10 marks. The structural classification, depending on the structure of joint, it is mainly divided into three types. That is fibrous joint, cartilaginous joint and synovial. Moving on to the first one, that is called as the fibrous joint. Fibrous joint means the bones are united by a fibrous tissue. These type of joints are immovable or produce a slight degree of movement. Okay. Now, under fibrous joint, in turn it is divided into three types, that is sutures, syndesmosis and gomphosis. We'll see what is sutures. Sutures are present especially in the skull. The two bones are united by a fibrous connective tissue. The sutural surface of the bone, it mainly consists of a cells which is called as osteogenic cells, which is continuous with the capsular layer and which again continue with the periosteum. The area between the bone decreases with age so that the sutural surface comes opposite to each other. So later the sutures undergo synostosis and get obliterated. Synostosis means the fusion of the bones, that especially due to the growth of bony substance. So depending on the margin of the sutures, it is mainly divided into following types. So first one is called as plain, where you can see in the internasal suture. The serrate, especially you can see in the interparietal suture. Squamous in the parieto-temporal suture. Denticulate, especially you can see in the lambdoid suture. So that's all about the sutures, and suture does not produce any kind of movements. So no movement occurs. Moving on to the second one, that is called as syndesmosis. Syndesmosis means there is a fibrous union between the bones. That means an interosseous ligament at the inferior tibiofibular joint and an interosseous talocalcaneal ligament. Example, these are the examples. The last one, that is called as the gomphosis. Gomphosis in the diagram you can see. This is a peg and socket junction between the tooth and its socket. The periodontal ligament which connect the dental element to the alveolar bones. So that is about the fibrous joint. Now moving on to the next one, that is called as the cartilaginous joint. So cartilaginous joint means the bones are united by a plate of cartilage. These are of two types, that is the primary cartilaginous joint and secondary cartilaginous joint. Now moving on to the primary cartilaginous joint. Primary cartilaginous joint means the bones are joined together by a plate of hyaline cartilage. This type of joints are immovable and strong. These are temporary in nature. As the age advances, the cartilaginous plate will be replaced by bone. Example for this is joint at the junction between epiphysis and diaphysis. Then the next one you can see, that is the spheno-occipital joint. Then first chondrosternal joint, costo-chondral joints. These are the example of primary cartilaginous joint. Moving on to the second one, that is called as the secondary cartilaginous joint. Here what happened means the articular surface is covered by a thin plate of hyaline cartilage which united by a plate of fibrocartilage. So that is called as secondary cartilaginous joint. Secondary cartilaginous joint is permanent and persists throughout your life. However, symphysis menti is a misnomer for this. This usually undergo synostosis, and this joint, especially you can see in the median plane of the body, that is the manubrosternal joint, pubic symphysis, intervertebral joints between the vertebral bodies, and they usually provide slight degree of movements. Okay, so that's all about the secondary cartilaginous joint. Now moving on to the last one, that is called as the synovial joint. Synovial joint is the most evolved and most mobile type of joint. We'll see what are the characteristic features of synovial joint. The synovial joint, if you see, it consists of articular surface. The articular surface is mainly covered by a cartilage which is called as the articular cartilage. The articular cartilage is avascular, non-nervous, and it is elastic in nature. The joint is completely covered by a fibrous capsule. Deep to the fibrous capsule, there is a membrane which is called as synovial membrane. The synovial membrane, it covers the joint cavity, but it does not extend up to the articular surface where it is covered by articular cartilage. The synovial membrane, it usually produces a fluid which is called as synovial fluid. The synovial fluid, it lubricates the joint as well as it nourishes the cartilage. So that's all about the characteristic features of synovial joint. So this synovial joint is of 7 types. Okay, we'll see each types in detail. So the first one, that is called as the plain joint, then hinge joint. Next one is called as pivot joint. The next one is called as condylar joint, saddle joint, ellipsoid joint, and ball and socket joint. We'll see each joint in detail. Moving on to the first one, that is called as plain joint. So in the diagram you can see the articular surface is more or less flat, and they usually provide gliding movements. Example for that is intercarpal joint, intertarsal joint, acromioclavicular joint, etc. The second one is called as hinge joint. In the diagram you can see the articular surface is pulley shaped, and there are strong collateral ligament along with this, and movement is usually occurs against the transverse axis. Example for this is elbow joint and angle joint. So this is my elbow joint. So it against the transverse axis means the action occurs as flexion and extension. Okay. The next one is called as pivot joint. Pivot joint means the articular surface, it consists of a central bony pivot. It is surrounded by an osteoligamentous ring. Movement occurs against the vertical axis. So against the vertical axis means some kind of rotatory movements. Okay. So example for this is first that is a atlantoaxial joint. Okay. So some kind of rotation movement you can see. The next one is the superior and inferior radioulnar joint. So here what occurs is the movement occurs is pronation and supination. Okay. So that is about the pivot joint. Moving on to the next one, that is called as condylar joint. The condylar joint means the articular surface consists of a male convex surface which fit into a female concave surface. Condylar joint example is knee joint. Here how the movement occurs means movement occurs against the transverse axis, that is the flexion extension will be there, and against the vertical axis some sort of rotatory movement also. Okay, example is knee joint and right and left jaw joints. Now moving on to the next one, that is called as the ellipsoid joint. Ellipsoid joint mainly consists of an oval convex surface which fitting into an elliptical concave surface. So here how the movement occurs means movement occurs against the transverse axis, that is the flexion and extension, against anterior-posterior axis, that is abduction and adduction. Combination of movements produced circumduction. Okay, example for this is wrist joint. So this is a flexion, extension, abduction, abduction and circumduction, that is the combination of movements. Okay, wrist joint. Now moving on to the next one, that is the saddle joint. Saddle joint means the articular surface is reciprocally concave or convex, and movement occurs same like ellipsoid joint, and some sort of rotatory movement also you can see. So ellipsoid joint, same kind of movement means the movement occurs against the transverse axis, that is a flexion extension, against the anterior posterior axis, that is the abduction adduction, and combination of movements produces circumduction and limited rotatory movement against the third axis. And this especially you can see in the first carpo-metacarpal joint. Okay, that is about the saddle joint. Now moving on to the last one, that is called as the ball and socket joint. Ball and socket joint, here there is a globular head fit into a cup-shaped socket. There are infinite number of axes in one common center, and the movement mainly produced is flexion, extension, abduction, adduction, medial rotation, lateral rotation and circumduction. Example for this is, especially you can see in the shoulder joint, and the next one you can see in the hip joint. Okay, so that's all about the classification of joints. Okay, and next topic I will be talking about the scalp and its layers. Okay, so that's all about today's video, and thank you so much.